Hello everybody. I'm going to bring up a situation pertaining to this car. But before I do so, I'm gonna make a statement for the many people is going to view this video. First, I want to make it crystal clear that my videos pertaining to this particular car are not centered around, oh, he's just going to try to do a buyback on this car because he wants something different, or he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Um, any issue I have with this car, I want to make clear right now, it has nothing to do with the dealership. Chapman Dodge has been great pertaining with me in a relationship, buying this car or other cars. I do not blame the dealership by any reason for anything I'm going to bring up in this video. I'm also not seeking a lemon law buyback on this car. I'm not seeking anything like that. But I feel I have a responsibility, if I notice things, to bring things to people's attention. You know, this is a $93,000 car. That's before someone pays taxes on it. So by the time you do all that, you have a $100,000 car sitting right here. So when you buy a car like this, you're going to expect a car that is not going to have what you're going to see in these videos. And for the people that want to explain it off simply, oh, it's just this, it's just some surface rust, it's just that, it's just that, quit bitching, drive the car, those people are wrong. And everybody that's been listening to these excuses, oh, that's just surface rust when this car's been, in transportation. That's not true. And I'll prove it's not true. I will prove it is not true. So all the naysayers out there that sitting with these Challengers in their garage full of rust, thinking it's just surface rust and it's okay, it's not okay. It's not okay. And if you think it is, you're brainwashed by some crazy excuse somebody concocted years ago or a year ago or whenever it is you heard it, saying that surface rust is normal because this car ships from Canada. It's not normal. And I'm going to prove to you at the end of this video that it's not normal. I have very good knowledge about cars, and I have an intelligence that helps me understand what we're dealing with here. So I'm going to bring light to how bad this issue is. And you know what, FCA? I came to you with this problem first. I gave you plenty of time to review pictures, to look at the car, to have a conversation about it, and to make a decision before I posted this video. And what did you decide, FCA? You decided you're not going to do anything for me. And you know what? That's okay. But the people, the consumers, are going to see this video. And I know very well, my lemon law video, there were plenty of consumers who were close to buying a Hellcat that, because of how I was treated as a consumer, went and bought a Chevy or a Ford or something else. Okay, and you lost business because of that, FCA. Because you didn't take care of one of your customers. I'm not saying I'm special. I'm not saying I deserve anything more than any other person deserves. But apparently, we seem to be entangled in this spider web together. And when I bought this car, I didn't buy it to go look for problems. I didn't buy it to have problems. It's my fourth Challenger. Obviously I buy the car because I like the car. A lot of people call me foolish. And I could respect that. Because after someone went through what they went through, what I went through, why would I go buy another one? The car is badass to me. The style's badass, the horsepower. This is a badass car. But I am tired of having problems out of these cars. And when I originally filmed these videos you're going to see in a moment, it was to show people the difference between ZL1 add-on rock guards versus Swaim International rock guards. It was just solely going to be about that. But when I took the wheels off my car and I saw what was staring back at me, you know, here we are again. But I'm not the type of person that's just going to turn around with my tail between my legs and walk away and accept it. You know, I brought it to the attention of FCA. FCA decided what I'm going to show you in this video, in these pictures, is to be normal. Is to be common with these cars. It's common day with FCA. Okay, you know, it's funny. The news today just reported how FCA had to pay a $77 million fine because their muscle cars don't meet federal guidelines for gas consumption. Something to that effect. You know, there's a saying, you make your bed, you're going to sleep in it. And I tell you what, FCA, you might want to change your ways about how you are treating customers and how you are building cars. More importantly, well, both actually. Because if you think what I'm going to show in this video and pictures afterwards is okay, then FCA, there's going to come a day where you're going to open up your dealership doors and you're not going to sell any cars anymore. Because people are going to get to a point where if you're going to be putting trash out that front door, they're not going to buy your product anymore. And I'm just going to tell it like it is. And as always, my videos are truthful, my videos are honest, and are backed up by pictures or video. Alright, so I'm going to roll a couple videos of what I notice when I'm putting rock guards on my car. And you can see my reaction to what I find. And at the end of the 3 little small videos, I'm going to post some pictures. And I'm going to break it down in detail. And let people see what's really, really going on. Stay tuned. So I decided to start on the right front wheel. You know, it's the first time I've taken the wheels off this car. Probably the first time I've ever been off the car. And I will have to say, this is 14 by 1.5 millimeter. That takes an 85 foot-pounds of torque on these lug nuts. It was nowhere near that. If I had to guess, I'd probably say they were maybe 50 pounds of torque. So I requested they didn't do any real PDI to the car. I let them wash it with brand new water and fresh quality towels. They didn't do any PDI, so they didn't install the wind deflectors on for the brakes here, which I'm going to do here in a minute. But when this car came off the trailer, everybody saw it. There was no surface rust at all on these rotors like there are in a lot of cars. Everybody's seen it. What I do find interesting, though, is the amount of surface rust and the bushing there, and it is interesting for me at least. And I don't normally look at these bushings on a car. I don't know if someone's had a Challenger or a Hellcat for a long time if these do get rusted like that. Well, shit. Let's just look right here. If I can see without jacking it up. I can't really see what I'm looking to see. 2015 car, 20,000 miles. There's not a whole lot of surface rust on this car. Let's look right here. I just can't get in here. There you go. Nothing. There's no surface rust. And a 2015 RT Challenger, 20,000 miles. It's 4 years old. This car got a lot of surface rust. A lot of surface rust. So I find something like this interesting. You know, look at that. I mean, let me try to. Accidentally kicked that off, but we're going to try it again. I mean, we see this, right? I'd have to say, honestly, I find that to be abnormal. I don't find that to be normal in any way. The bushing is new inside. I could see it. I'm sorry. I don't find that normal. Not in a brand new car. Not in the least. New bushing. It's new. If I can get a better video here. Even that one there, see it? Rusted, big time rusted. Let me try to get start cutting this off again here. Oh. Interesting. Very, very interesting. That's not normal. People, that is not normal. No, sorry. That shit ain't normal. That's not normal on a brand new car. Not as bad. Sorry. That's not normal on a brand new car. Not even. So, I give you my opinion about this. I'm assuming wherever they source these parts from, whoever the manufacturer is, they've been exposed to weather. Sitting in the shipping box, shipping crate, from China here, who knows? They've been exposed to weather. So however they were packaged has suffered, you know, for a period of time, a good period of time. Some type of dampness, well actually, I have to say liquid contamination. Not fully, but a good bit of it. And when they're manufacturing these cars, that's what you got. So I gotta say, I'm working at the Brampton plant. I'm putting together a brand new custom order 2019 Redeye. What am I saying to myself when I'm installing something looking like that? I'd have to say, if I worked there, I would say, excuse me, I'm not putting this shit in a brand new Redeye. I don't think this is right. I don't think this is right. I think these parts have been sitting out in the weather for a long time until they've been used to build this car. I'm assuming all of them are going to be like this, because that was not at all. So, you know, so they wonder why they have problems on some of these cars. Why some pull this, pull the right, vibrate, whatever the case may be. I mean, man, so that had to be pressed through that arm right there, that control arm. It had to be pressed through there. So you're pressing from this. No, I don't want to lose that video. From the left to the right, you're pressing that bearing in. Well, this way down. So you're starting where all that rust is, and you're pushing it through that control arm to get it to stop right here. Because here's your flare right there. So you're pushing it that way. So you're starting with all the rust, and you can see where it's marked before they pressed it into that control arm. So it's rusted pressed right in. That, to me, that's not quality. To me, I'm sure the employees there building this car have no control. I'm sure they've voiced their opinion. I'm sure they really have. And, plant managers like, put the car together. Get it done. That's what you got. I think this needs to be brought to the attention that, people are noticing this. People have noticed. I've noticed this. I mean, I spent over $90,000 in this car. That doesn't make me happy. Do I want them to rip this front end apart and repress new bushings in there? Hell no. I do not want any dealership ripping apart a brand new car to press new bushings in it. Who knows what the outcome is after that. But that right there, no, not at all. I think there's an expectation of the quality of parts that go in a car, and this is nothing against the dealership. Dealership guys have been great. They didn't build this car, but I will let my consumer protection attorney, my lemon law attorney, Chris Levitt, I will show him this information, and I'm just going to show him this information. I think information like this should become available. I'm not trying to be the dickhead, but seriously, $90,000 in a car, all my shit. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me pull the rest of the wheels off. Let's see what this turns into from this point on. Let me put this one thing on. All right, I got the first one on. Well, it took about, really not that long at all, actually. What's kind of nice about these, if I can let it focus here, is it doesn't actually touch the fender where the ZL1 add-ons did. See, that's kind of kept off the actual paint. That's the specific washers. It comes with a silver screw, which is kind of weird, on a black piece. That's a factory screw there, and that's a factory clip. I'll go ahead and replace that later. I couldn't find the right size here in my shop. I'll replace it. I went ahead and put the deflectors on the front, the brake deflectors, because they didn't PDI the car. They didn't put those on, and that's fine. It's pretty neat though how they got the air that comes through here to hit that, deflected to the brakes, and actually goes to the front inlet right there. It's kind of neat. In, out, deflect into the brakes. Pretty creative, but yeah, just got different lights. You can see a lot more in here. Yeah. It's funny about the VIN number of my car stamped in that spring. Okay, light problems here. Spring's new. Like I say, I think all this stuff here, shit, sitting outside or something. That's my guess, but again, there's disappointment I have about this. I know Dodge is the 2019, they're putting some extra care into manufacturing the car, but then they go and do shit like this. The behind the scenes things they think people won't see. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm curious about other Challenger owners. What do you got? What do you got going on in your car? You got anything like this going on? That is pretty sad back there. I mean, that is sad. Sad. You know, honestly, I think anybody that has spent the kind of money on a car like that should deserve some type of partial refund for the purchase price for having that put on the car. You know, if you're building a precision car and you want it to perform right, you don't throw a bunch of rust in the suspension parts and the bushings, you know, and expect it to be a, I don't know. Take it for what it is. All right, let me get the other tire done. All right, guys, I've got the driver's side off. I did the passenger side front first, but you know, that rust and everything kind of got to be thinking, so I did the driver's side next, and I have the same issue on the driver's side, but I'll tell you what I've noticed, and I've got this figured out, how this issue occurred. So the spring that has my car's serial number on it, there's no issues there. There's no issues with the Brembo caliper. There's no issues with the shock. Even the bolts on the frame that hold the front cradle here, no issue. No issue with the bolts there holding the shock. No signs of corrosion at all whatsoever. So what it looks like to me, my opinion is this: the front control arm, the bushings connected to the lower control arm, and all their bushings is installed in this car as one item. See all that? See them both there? So, since there is no other surface rust or rust anywhere pertaining to any parts put on this car other than the lower and upper control arms and the bushings, mainly the bushings. You've got some on the rotor, and you've got all the suspension pieces there and behind the rotor. See that right there? So, my opinion is FCA has the upper and lower control arms already attached to the suspension, and they're taken from outside, clearly exposed to water, without a doubt, or moisture of some type. How? I have no idea. But clearly, these parts have all been exposed to moisture, separate from the car itself. Okay? So the front suspension's put on, the car's being manufactured, it's got all new stuff. They grab these suspension parts from out there in the store yard, been out there for who knows how long, and they're throwing on the car. If you notice, this is why I think that. Let me try to get a better picture. That nut has not been screwed on to that bolt. Has not been screwed on that bolt. That is rust that hasn't been touched for a while. Okay, so that means if that hasn't been screwed on there for them to build this car, that means that this item here was already put together someplace prior, exposed to moisture, and then installed on the car as upper and lower control arm at one time. Just slide in there, screw it in. Even the bolts holding the control arms in place are not rusted. You see? So they have suspension parts exposed to moisture, whatever, throwing them on these cars. Thumbs down on that, Dodge. That's bullshit. On your flagship car, that's bullshit. Now, for the guys that are getting cars with the rotors all rusted, same thing. If you think about it, everybody's had these. I have this car. I drive it in the rain. Okay? I drive it in some big ass puddles, thunderstorms. I park it in my garage. I don't come back to the car for a week. Let's say 2 weeks. Is that rotor going to be rusted? No, that rotor's not going to have rust on it. It's not going to happen. The guys that are getting these cars with these rotors coated with rust, them rotors been sitting outside in the moisture. That's why you're getting cars looking like that. And For FCA to even put that on a car and ship it, whoever has made that decision and allowed it to happen should be fired. So FCA, if you view this video, I'm going to tell you right now, whoever allows these cars to leave your plant in Canada coated with rust, and that right there, you should fire that person right now. That makes you look bad. That makes FCA look bad to allow a car. Show me any other car manufacturer. I doubt Chevy or Ford does this. I doubt it. I know, I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah. I mean, this type of shit, you know, for all the guys that are going to comment on my video saying, oh, drive the car, you pussy, just enjoy it. You know what? Bullshit. If this was your car and you bought it and you spent this money on it and you notice this car put together with all this rust on your suspension, sit there and tell me, you'd say, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to race the car, drive it like I stole it. I don't believe you. You could talk the shit, but I doubt it. I doubt it. You get a car looking like that, I doubt it. You're going to find this acceptable. So just save the hate comments. Save the hate comments. But this right here, this looks bad on the manufacturer. It looks... Why would you do that? I mean, realistically, you could spend less than an hour on all these parts right here, and with a soft brush, you know, and you could remove all that surface rust where it's not even visible. You could coat it with some oil. You could wipe it down, and you know what? It'd probably be acceptable to anybody. But just to have this stuff, all the surface rust all over it, and FCA thinks that's okay, I don't think it's okay. You know, I don't think anybody would be happy looking at all this stuff right here. So what do you do in a situation like this? Do you leave it? I mean, this could be literally class action lawsuit type stuff. Look at this. What would a judge say if he saw that on a $90,000 car? What would a judge say if he saw that? That's my question. What would a judge in district court say about this? Brand new car. Brand new car. Come on. Come on. Brand new car. See that middle bolt right there? Down right there? Like, right there? Never been unscrewed to manufacture this car. This assembly was together, complete, and put on this car. That's proof right there. This bolt here, this has been put on. It's fresh. You see it? No rust. You know why that's fresh? Because that came from the rack and pinion. But still, there's surface rust on that too. But the nut and the bolt wasn't exposed to it. I mean, wow. I'd like to see everybody else's Hellcats or Redeyes, and curious to see if you have the same thing as this right here. I mean, how could that be acceptable by law? I don't think so. I don't think so. That hasn't even been pressed on. That's been put on prior. There's no press on marks on that to put on this car. This is one assembly put together previously, sitting out in the fucking who knows what. I'm curious though, inside here, this is kind of interesting to me. Inside this little vent right here, this little thing right here, got some dirt and stuff on there, but I know it's underneath a cooling radiator, but what is that? That white thing right there. It's pretty interesting. Interesting. All right, let's see what surprises are in the back of the car. All right, guys. so you watched the videos, you know. So I asked FCA if they would replace these two rear pieces of plastic on my car. They're not very expensive. because they're beat to shit. You can see it. They really are. And this is 400 miles on my car. So I asked them if they would be kind enough to replace those under warranty. Both of them. And now we're going to talk about rust. Rust that I'm not the only person that has a rust problem. This gentleman here had a brand new 2008 Dodge Demon. And his shit's all rusted. And this gentleman here, I'm sure people probably know him. Got a YouTube channel. So shout out to this gentleman. I hope he has no problem with me using a little bit of his video to bring attention to my issue. That's his Dodge Demon, people. And, this man wasn't very happy when he saw that. Would you be? And I consider my car worse than that. Let me click on these ads, give him a few pennies here. Support. There's a problem with this. These cars have 800 horsepower. Do you know what kind of stress? You could look at this. This is not some serious thick stuff. This is thin control arm material here. This is a lot of horsepower, weight, and pressure, especially a Demon. A Demon is probably putting a lot more stress on his vehicle than a Redeye is. This is a quarter-mile drag racing car. Rusted suspension. Ultimately, in this gentleman's case, FCA replaced everything. They took care of him, replaced it all. That's what he asked for. Okay? Glad he got taken care of. Good for him. Another guy in a Dodge Challenger. Rust is eating away his Hellcat. Same scenario. And, you can see it all. So you can see it all back there. But this is commonplace for FCA. This has been happening for a long time. This is commonplace. So, these suspensions are put on the car as one complete unit. They're not part of the manufacturing line or process. That's my personal opinion. That's my opinion using my intelligence that I have to put 2 and 2 together. 2 and 2 gives me 4. It's always going to give me 4. It's not going to give me 3. It's not going to give me 5. It's going to be 4. So this bolt's not affected. Goes through no issues. This bushing, this spindle, all of it, including that bolt right there, was not put on the car and then put together. That bolt has never been on that nut during the manufacturing process of this car. Because those threads would not look like that. Oh, it's just surface rust. No. No, that's not surface rust. And let's just say hypothetically you think it is. How did that happen? What's the excuse going to be? Oh, well, the car came from Canada. There's snow up there. Okay. All right, so there's some snow. And there's some water. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. So why is it not affecting all these other bolts? Why is it only affecting the suspension components? Not the bolts put on the car. The bolts put on the car on the line of the manufacturing process. The suspension, upper control arms, lower control arms, spindle, are put on this car as one whole piece. And are brought from a different area. They're not on the production line. Nope, not at all. And that's not just surface rust. Let's see if we can get. Look at that. Again, new bolts. Rusted suspension put on a brand new car with new bolts. Look at that. That nut's not been on there. That's not surface rust from a car being in transportation from Canada to here, to Las Vegas. Sorry. That is all part of the spindle, put together as one whole thing and sat in some environment that caused accelerated, extremely accelerated rust enhancement on these parts. And I may even go as far as to say that maybe we're using materials that don't meet quality standards. If this thing's been sitting outside and it's rusted, your metal doesn't meet quality standards. Like you saw in my video, my 2015 RT Challenger, 22,000 miles. How many times do you think I've driven that car in the rain? In 4+ years. 30 times probably, which would be realistic, 20 times. There's no rust. You saw me crawl underneath it in videotape, but there's no rust. So where'd this rust come from? If there's no rust on a car that's 4+ years old, why is there rust on a car that's not even a month old? So I'll explain that one. Surface rust? Nope. Negative. Salt? No. This car, there's no salt. The car wasn't exposed to salt. Where? So it might snow in Canada? Sure. There's no salt there. If there is salt, but believe me, there's no salt that causes damage. And I'll prove that in a moment. Look at that. Again, your bolt's not affected. That bushing's on that control arm, put on the car. Look at this. Salt, huh? One thing I did notice is the cuts in the rotors are different on a Redeye versus a Hellcat. Hellcat seems to have some more cuts in the rotor for cooling than the Redeye does. But however, interesting enough, and I apologize for the shaky camera. I really do. I did it at the beginning of the video. I looked at it. I'm like, I'm shaking, just holding a camera. These videos are exhausting to me. It's really not what I want to do, but I'm doing it because people need to see this, because not only for the rust issue, but this is dangerous. It's people's safety and life is in danger when you have a car that's got this type of rust on the bolts that hold things together. And I'm going to show you that in a moment too. This car has got 800 horsepower. This is not your normal car. Do you know what kind of stress goes on in components with 800 horsepower and with Brembo brakes that can stop it fast? So, basic picture. These are the lower control arms. Okay, I can see, yeah, okay, transportation, a little bit of water getting in there. Sure, I'll buy that, even though nothing else is rusted. Just the suspension, whatever is attached to the suspension is rusted. It's centered on the suspension. So, this, do you guys tell me that this is from transportation? Please, does that work in somebody's head? Now, it's okay. FCA says it's okay. It's okay. Hey, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Really? What happens in 10 years from now? I need to take my spindle off my car for whatever reason. What's going to happen when I take that nut off? I'll tell you what's going to happen. That nut's not going to come off. It's going to break that bolt. So now I'm going to have to do more repairs on a car because my shit broke because it's just been sitting outside for, I don't know, how many, 3 years, 4 years? I mean, the pictures don't lie. Here's a brand new bolt from the manufacturing process. Here's your tie rod end. It's separate from the spindle. Okay, the spindle is one piece connected to control arms. Tie rod end is separate. The bolt, the nuts put right there, there's no rust on that. But there's rust on that bolt. So tell me, what's the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The suspension is already rusted when it's put on this car. There's your proof. Common sense. Common sense. Yeah, I mean, it's not difficult to figure this out. We could continue though. I mean, look at that. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit here. And this is just surface rust, right? Okay, so answer me this. If this is just from transportation, if a little bit of water on the ground, right? Because cars just go moving around in the parking lot, surface rust. This is the upper control arm. How did all that water get up there? How did all that water get up there to rust your upper control arm if it's just from transportation on the ground, a little bit of water on the ground? Why is it all the way up there? Hey, let's take a good look at that. Tell me that bolt, that nut, was put on this car when it was manufactured a month ago, a month and a half, 2 months, whatever it is. Does anybody buy that? Because it hasn't been. It's clear it hasn't been. That nut has been on that bolt for a long time. I'm curious how long, but it's been a long time. Not fit for a brand new car. I'd say, yes, the rust you see. What's underneath that bolt? You don't think it's stressed? This is what's holding your upper control arm together in your car. Yeah, an 800 horsepower car. Yeah. Is that safe? I wouldn't think so. Again, you got a brand new bolt. No issues. But you got a lot of rust. That's put on prior to the manufacturing process. I mean, this picture is really interesting because this picture is going to tell a different story. So here we have parts that seem to be exposed to more elements that have accelerated the rust process. Okay? I mean, look at that. It's pretty bad, right? So what about that bolt right there? How long do you think that's been rusted, sitting around? I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to guess that's bolt been about 5 years now. That's my guess. It's a guess. I don't know for sure. I'm guessing that's 5 years. What I find interesting is a crack in that bolt. That's what I find interesting. Sure looks like a crack to me. I mean, after all, FCA says that's okay. That's the lower mount to my lower spindle. The weight of the car is right in that spot right there. Wow. Imagine driving an 800 horsepower car to Dodge's claimed 203 miles per hour. Wow. That's okay, Dodge? That's okay, FCA? I don't mind showing it. You feel that's okay. I want consumers to see this. $93,000 for this car. And that's okay? Let's let consumers take a look at that. Out of all the pictures of all the Challengers I've seen, I believe that picture right there takes the cake. I think it goes right up to the top of the ranks. #1 picture. I want the world to see this. I want the world, the whole world, to see this. I want to emphasize on this, FCA, that you've seen these pictures. You've seen this car. You denied doing anything, stating it's not considered warrantyable. This is commonplace for you. All right? Let's let the world let this soak in for a moment. How you feel this is commonplace. And this is going to come back and bite you, FCA. This is going to come back and bite you. Because a lot of guys are probably looking at this right now that was going to buy Hellcat, and they're saying, fuck no. I wouldn't put my wife and my kids in this car. Excuse the vulgar language. I'm just exhausted. You can probably hear it in my voice. You guys have heard my videos. I'm exhausted from this issue with these cars. I didn't go looking for this. Believe me, do you think I wanted to find this? No. I didn't want to find this. But here it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm FCA's karma. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know why these things are happening. But, they're happening. Look at that bolt. Look at that bolt. I mean, Sure looks like a crack to me. Yeah, you can see it's been, it's been there a while. It's all the way up into the different material metal from the nut. And that's safe. 800 horsepower. 0 to 60 in what, 3.5 seconds, quarter mile in 10 seconds. That's safe, FCA, right? Just want to be sure you let the world know that you say it's okay. Okay, all right. Okay then. That's okay, right? All this rusted stuff's okay. Rusted bushing, bolts fine. Okay, all right. Okay then. We're just gonna leave it right here for a second. I think that's gonna be a picture that I predict is gonna become one famous picture, and I want it to circulate around the world. I really do. Circulate around the world. Let people take a look at this, because I'm disappointed. It looks bad on you, FCA. It looks bad on me. It looks bad on me because it seems to be me finding these problems with these cars. I seem to have bad luck out of these last two Challengers. I'm not asking you to buy this car back. I'm not even going to lemon law this car. I'm not even going to try. Believe me, I'm not going to put my life through that hell again. But this next video, I'll tell you what I am going to do, FCA. Hold that thought. So in closing, in this video, I want to make it really clear for the world to see. Everything in yellow are the suspension parts affected by rust. I don't feel they're safe to be on my car. Okay? FCA, you say it's okay. All right. Okay. That's your decision. You've made it. I gave you a week or so to make the decision. All right? And that's fine. Well, all these parts, added up. My cost, through my business, I'm in automotive industry, so, I pay a little bit less than a customer. $2,369.40. So, let's take a good look at that number. $2,369. Your consumer's not worth that, huh? Your consumer's not worth $2,369 to replace all this rusted shit you put on my car. Thinking that's okay. Well, I'll buy the parts. Because you know what? My life and my safety is more important than that. But to you, it's not. So I wonder, FCA, how many customers did you just lose? How many Hellcat sales did you just lose? 5? 10? 20? 50? 100? Think about it. Think real good about it. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people going to see this video. If I saw this video, I wouldn't go buy this car. Hell no. If I knew my brand new car was going to have this shit on it, I wouldn't have bought it. Because there's one sale you would have lost right there. That's one $93,000 sale you get. You're charging $100,000 for these cars. Shame on you, FCA. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You put this crap on a car, and you're going to call it okay. Common day. What kind of business decision was that? I gave you a week before I posted this video. I gave you time to review my pictures, my car, and make a decision. But if you think all that's okay, and that's okay, then you deserve it. You deserve the lost sales. You really do. And I don't even feel bad about it. I don't even think consumers are either. They're going to see this, and they're going to be like, hell no, I'm not going to buy it. Show me a Ford GT Mustang Show me a Chevrolet Camaro that's got this shit on your front end. And you know, I'm curious, consumers, if you have a Ford or a Chevy, do you have this on your front end? I'm really curious. Or is this centered around the Dodge, the FCA brand of vehicles? You know, I'm looking for input on this. I'm disappointed. I'm not happy. That shit's unsafe. I'll pay the $2,400. I'll put the front end on myself. It's not rocket science. It's not that big of a deal. Spring compressor, not a big deal. I'll pay Firestone to line my car. So what's it? $2,400 plus what? $100 to line it. $2,500 on a car. It's almost $100,000. So that's 2.5%. It's not worth that, FCA. Oh, this picture here. I predict it's become a very popular picture right here. That's horrible. That's disappointing. I'm disappointed. And shame on you, FCA. Shame on you. I hope you reap what you sow when it comes to this. You know, I'm so exhausted having to deal with these issues, and this is dangerous. It's unsafe, and people have families. You want to sell your Trackhawks and you want to sell your Jeeps. Well, you know what? Before anybody buys an FCA product, from today forward, I would ask you, get your flashlight and go look up underneath the front suspension of that vehicle you want to buy, that brand new vehicle sitting in the dealership lot. Take a look at your front suspension. On the vehicle you want to buy, you want to put your wife, your kids, your girlfriend, your family, your dad, your mother in, your child, take them to school. Does your front end look like that? Does your bolt crack like that? On a brand new car has been sitting outside for years, and they're throwing out a brand new car, and that's okay? I would request that anybody going to buy an FCA product from this point forward that sees this video is go underneath that vehicle with a flashlight. Have them put it on a rack. Take a look at it. If you see something that looks like this, my advice would be walk away. It sucks. It's sad because you may want that Jeep. You may want that 300 Challenger, Charger, whatever the case may be. You may want it. I couldn't agree with you more. But I know this. If I knew my Redeye and I saw this before I laid that cash down on the table, that video never would have happened because you wouldn't have got my cash. You wouldn't have got my sale. I would have walked away from the FCA brand right there at that moment. Because I'll tell you what, I'll never buy another one. I will never buy another one that looks like this. So what are you going to produce next, FCA? A car with a elephant motor, the Angel you're calling it? I ask everybody to look underneath that front suspension before they buy that car. And if you produce cars that look like this shit here, you deserve to lose these sales. You deserve to go out of business with this kind of crap. How dare you build a car like this? And when someone finds it, you say, I'm not going to do anything about it. Even when they show you videos of someone you have done something about it. So, sir, you're a hypocrite, FCA. Take care of some, but don't take care of others. Sure, this gentleman's bought a lot of cars. So how do you figure that out, FCA? How do you replace some people's suspensions, but not others? I look at my suspension. I think it looks worse than this man's here suspension. I think mine looks the worst of anybody's that I've seen. That's what I think. I mean, come on, FCA. This is how you do it, huh? This is your everyday normal business, right? Yeah, attacking your rusted suspension parts. You shouldn't have to do anything. That's my video rant. I'm going to go to the dealership, order some parts. And the truth shall set you free. That's what I say. The truth shall set you free. Thank you, everybody. Like I said, I think I've proven this is not surface rust. This is surface rust not going to the top of the car. Sorry. Bullshit excuse. All right. Take care, everybody.